Hello, everyone, all you cosmic surfers out there. This is Alexis, and this is our very first fireside discussion. I am here being joined by the lovely Liz Lee, and Giuseppe, her husband, and Heather. And today we are having an incredible discussion about portals and other paranormal activity that's been going on. This has been inspired basically by an interview I recently saw with Allison Coe and Dan Hallfield on his channel K2D4 Network about this incredible phenomena. And it's not exactly the most it's not the most fluffy situation, but it's very, very interesting and hopefully for the betterment. And I would like to invite Heather, if you could, to discuss what has happened to a very close family member, and we'll begin there.
Sure. Well, it was October 13th of 2016. My brother went over to Maui. My brother Josh went over to Maui to work, and he was there for about a month. And he decided to go fishing with a buddy. His buddy was not feeling too well, and so they decided to take alternate routes. My brother was going to take the more strenuous one, and his buddy was going to take the easier one, and then they were going to meet on this outcropping of rocks and go fishing there. Josh's buddy saw Josh sitting up on a rock, and it looked like he was meditating. He was very blissed out. And so he gave him a little bit of time, and then approached and was walking around this cliffy area to where my brother was, saw my brother descend from the cliff to this, there's like a rope swing that they usually use to get to the next level of where they jump off and go fishing. And he saw Josh descend there, but when he got to the point, Josh was totally gone. He was missing. There was none of his items. I guess he brought a water bottle and some slippers and other stuff, and it was all gone. And he thought, well, maybe I didn't see him. Maybe I was watching somebody else. So he decided to hang out for a while to see if Josh would show up, and Josh never showed up. And that's when he decided to go back and call the Maui Coast Guard. And the Coast Guard, the Navy, firefighters, just a ton of different search crews spent a total of almost 9 days looking for him.
Wow.
And found absolutely nothing. Not an item of clothing, nothing. And they searched over probably 1,900 square miles of coastline and ocean. And then it was about 4 days that the Navy and the Coast Guard were doing that. And then they brought in the Maui Search and Rescue and search parties and a canine unit and searched on land. And there was absolutely nothing. And at the time, I was in South America, Colombia, with my husband. And when I found out that Josh was missing and assumed drowned, I heard inside, it was like this just huge knowing that that's not what happened. And I thought, this is crazy. Am I in denial? Because that would make sense. But it was just this inner knowing. And I could hear him calling my name. I could hear him saying, I'm here, I'm here. And I'm thinking, okay, this doesn't help me. What am I supposed to do in Colombia? I can't get to you. I don't know where you are. So I had, and Allison doesn't know this part, I had reached out to an intuitive and was speaking with her, and she said, no, he's still here. He's still alive. He's there. I can feel him. I can sense him. And so it kind of reiterated what I was feeling, and my mom, who's an intuitive, was feeling. And the only thing that I could do in Colombia was start a Facebook group for his friends to let them know what was happening with the search parties and the information that we were getting. And lo and behold, more of our friends and family, people that I didn't even expect to feel this way, were feeling the same thing. No, he's not gone. He's not gone. One of my aunts, who is a massage therapist and incredibly intuitive, she said, Heather, I feel like he got transported. And I said, you're kidding me. That's what I feel. But they never found anything. So of course, day 9, everybody's saying, we got to stop now. Our crews need to go home and rest, and we can't do anymore. And we haven't found anything. And I'm so sorry. And just inside, there's the human aspect of ourselves that this is my brother, and I'm devastated because they're saying he's gone, but I'm also feeling inside that that's not the case. And so there's like this internal struggle going on. And I said, Josh, I need you to let me know. I need you to tell me if I'm going insane here, if what I'm feeling is accurate, because all Mom is hearing is trust inside. And I'm feeling like you're not gone. Other people are feeling this way, yet we're being told that you drowned. So answers started coming in dreams to me. And it was a absolutely phenomenal journey since that point. I feel like my brother has been giving me like puzzle pieces to kind of lock in and put together. And that's how I found Jordan Sather. That's how I found Gaia and Cosmic Disclosure. I mean, it's just been this incredible unfolding. And I feel like Josh has actually pulled friends and family members in and is acting as a guide to help wake people up, to prepare them for this ascension process. And it's actually come through in dreams, like I said, in others' dreams. And it's also how I found Allison and Unleashing Natural Humanity. I had a session with Eric Rains. Eric told me, no, he's not gone. In fact, I'm working with him. He's between the fourth and fifth dimension. He just figured out how to change frequencies. And everybody who knows my brother said, yeah, I could totally see that. Your brother's like this wizard person. So now I'm asking him, I said, Josh, you need to teach me how to get out of the matrix. You need to come back and teach me how to do this.
Wow.
Yeah. Just, yeah.
So in my session with Allison, one of the questions I had is, okay, well, again, I'm always questioning, is this really true? Is this really true? And in the session, it came up that, yes, he is helping those. He's acting as, the image I got was like the earth and these rainbow arcs, right? Rainbow arcs coming down and touching people and people lighting up. It's much more beautiful in the vision than I got that I could ever explain, but that Josh was a part of that. He was a part of reaching out to those who are right on the verge and saying, this is what you have to look forward to. Get this message out. He's happy. He's in a place that's very, very beautiful. He doesn't feel hungry, although he could eat if he wants to. He looks like he did maybe, he was about 41, 42 when he disappeared, but he looks to me like he did in his early 30s or late 20s. I mean, just radiant, happy. The dreams that he appeared to me in, one of them, I had a girlfriend explain to me that it represents the portal. I had this dream where I was looking into a mirror. I was at my mom's house. I was looking into this mirror, and we were talking about designing our house, and I saw Josh come through the door in the mirror. I'm seeing him walk through the door. He had a backpack on. I could describe, he had regular clothes on. He looked radiant. He had a buddy with him. And I turned around and looked at him. My mom turned around and said, well, there you are. Later, she told me that's exactly what she would have said. I ran up, gave him a hug, and I said, Joshua, people think you're dead. And he starts just laughing. And he said, okay. And then he puts his backpack down and he goes and sits in this chair and he kind of settles in like he usually does when he's getting ready to tell a story. And he said, you guys never checked that. And then I woke up. And I was like, wait a minute.
Shoot.
What's the rest of that?
Talk about
but later,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. I know. Later, I was telling a girlfriend that she said, Heather, mirrors are portals. Mm-hmm. That's what they represent. And I went, oh my goodness. So the next dream incident that I had with him, I was laying on my back and I would tell him every night, I'd say, Josh, come take me on an adventure. I want to go on an adventure. And this night, his favorite color is orange. So I just saw this swirling orange energy. And I fell asleep, and I was on my back, and I had my hands kind of crossed over my chest. And I literally felt him come behind me, lace his fingers through mine, and pull me up. And where he pulled me up was like being suspended in this beautiful, I want to say like nebula, where all the colors and the stars and you can see things zipping by. And I just had this moment of profound peace, absolute peace. And I was just suspended there. And something in the house must have rattled or something, because I snapped back into my body really quick. And then I opened my eyes. And my first thought was, I didn't want to come back. Why am I here? And really disappointed. So I fell back to sleep again, and the same thing happened. I felt his hand, and it was like if somebody came behind you and you felt their touch. I mean, it was that strong. I could feel the warmth. I could feel everything. And he picked me back up and did the same thing. And I guess the other really impactful, it wasn't a dream. I was actually working on creating this post that was going to go out on Facebook for his birthday. And I was thinking about the journey and thinking about him and trying to respect everybody's beliefs about what happened. And I was thinking about the portal scenario. And I said, okay, Josh, I know about portals. This is what I'm feeling happen. This is what other people are feeling happen. I just need to know if this is accurate. I really need to know if this is accurate. And it seems strange, but I had my purse right next to me, and my purse has the straps, and it has these two metal rings that attach the straps. And I looked down, and my strap of my purse went down, and the ring lit up, absolutely lit up. And I thought, okay, is this another message? Because there was no way, nothing touched it, anything. It just, as soon as I thought that ring lit up, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to go with this is how I'm feeling, and I'm feeling it strongly, and others are feeling it. So I'm getting messages that this is what's transpired. And I've had several other dreams in that, and then the session with Allison. So it's confirmed that what we suspected did happen.
Wow.
It's a lot of information kind of all over the place.
May I say one thing?
Of course.
Yes.
Orange, ironically, is the power color. So that makes a lot of sense.
Wow. That was his favorite color too.
He's a powerful guy.
Clearly. Interdimensional traveler. It takes power to do that.
He did that quite a bit. And one of the things that he was really into was stones and stone healing. And he's been so ever since he was little. That's really been important to him. And so I used to giggle because everywhere he would work, he would put these stone grids together. We both worked at a hotel, and I swear they still have stones and crystals in their plants from when he worked there. But when he disappeared, one of the things that we had to take care of is, okay, what do we do with his stuff, meaning his collection of rocks? And my mom asked, she said, Josh, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't know what you want me to do with this. And she heard, ask everybody what their two favorite colors are.
Aww.
So we ended up giving his rock collection to over, I think it's like 48 different people now. And then it wasn't until we were coming back from a trip from Portland from doing that, from giving out the rocks to some families, that I realized, oh my gosh, Mom, he's creating a grid using us with his stones. But it's an energetic grid with his friends and family. And
wow,
some of the response that we got back from people is either finding out that they were really into stones, or that particular stone meant a great deal to them, or just random. We wouldn't have known. We would not have known. And we just kind of sat there with our mouths open and in utter amazement and very humbled. And it feels like Josh is actually working through those of us that he's connected to help others through this process. And it's been just a beautiful, amazing, loving experience.
Nice.
Well, I guess I know what I want to ask first for sure is if perhaps Josh was taking part, which I believe, in arranging this particular what we're doing right now. What do you think that his message would be, or perhaps even your message would be right now about this, about his experience and about this current situation in yours and your family's lives?
The feeling that I get is Josh, when he was in physical 3D form, just emulated love. Didn't matter if you were a homeless person or the president of some Fortune 500 company, you were the same. And he saw your heart. And I guess that it would be the message, is to really focus on the love and the connection, and not see yourself as separate, to know that we are all one, and to be able to assist those that he does care about so much, and others, and to realizing that it doesn't look as what the appearance on the outside is not, that's the illusion. That the truth is that there's something far more greater and more beautiful, and that we need to tap into that, and tap into that energy source and the love. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but that's kind of the feeling that I'm getting.
Yeah, I couldn't have asked for a better answer. That's incredibly beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you or Liz have any questions?
Wow, the whole thing has me a little
I'm just full body goosebumps.
Goosebumps of breath, heart's pounding away.
Yeah, just all kinds of all the things.
A very emotionally affecting story.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you don't have your brother in a physical form anymore with you, but I'm so happy that you have him in the form that you do have him, and for him to personally come and get you and take you on a journey. How lucky are you? Wow.
I know. That was one of the most incredible experiences of my whole life. It was just amazing. And I should mention, he goes on adventures with his daughters too. He's got a 17, and a 10-year-old daughter. The 10-year-old has always been very intuitive. So she'll tell me, oh yeah, Dad came and got me, and we went way, way, way deep into the sea, and now I want to be an oceanographer because he was showing me all the glowfish down there.
Oh my goodness.
That's incredible.
So
Yeah.
he's very active with his friends and family, and I hear his laughter. I sense him around me. I'll hear responses to things. In fact, I'm doing a remote viewing course through, it's a Gerald O'Donnell's course.
Nice.
And I without even realizing it, I hadn't even got to that part, I reached that theta state, and I heard him say, "You never have to doubt, I'm always right here with you." And this is sort of a funny thing too. I had a moment where I was really missing him, and I was in the bathroom at the time, and I just thought, okay, well, this is going to be awkward. I don't want him necessarily showing up when I'm in here. This is weird. You know, the very brief moment thought. And I had talked to my mom about the fact that I was missing him, and she said, well, I got this message to tell you that he is always around you, even in the bathroom. And I thought, what? Like, no. How did you know that? She said, I didn't. I just got that message.
Man.
Wow.
But it's a very brother thing to say and tease me about, you know.
I was just going to say, man, brothers, you know, they always go there.
Yep. But it did confirm again that he's just there, and I do feel him. I know there's been times where I'm aware that I'm interacting with him. In dream state, I may not remember it, but we're definitely working together. And I did have one dream at one time where he actually handed me a key, and he said, I need you to hold on to this. I have yet to figure out what that key represents, but he was very emphatic about it. So that's still a mystery that's unfolding here.
Very
Wow.
nice. I'm glad you shared that with us, because that might activate somebody who watches this, and perhaps it'll give you some more information.
And I'm
Yeah, that's
hearing in the
it's
future.
kind of like that, a scavenger hunt.
Yeah. Interdimensional scavenger hunt.
Man, I definitely want to hear where that story goes someday.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. I'd like to know.
I want to be in the front row.
That you never check the blank, whatever that is. What is that?
I don't know, but it might fit that key.
Yeah. Or it could be a sense of humor, like just, having it cut off right when he says.
I know. That's so him. He would do that too.
That might be me, just to tease somebody. That's something I do.
I thought it was interesting that he was 41 and he was last seen near mile marker 41. I'd like to know that, like the numerology around that. I know 4s and 1s.
I know.
Seeing those
It was
together.
just so many synchronicity things like that. And this was months and months ago, maybe 2 months after he disappeared, that I was working with a gentleman that does galactic astrology in New Zealand, Graham Forsett. And he was talking about Gematria. And so I was doing some of the math and then writing down all what it represents from his information. And it was really powerful. I think portal was one of the things that came up. It was a sequence of words, but the portal was in there. So that was another confirmation. And I have to go back and look. It's in some journal somewhere. But there was a lot of those little parts and pieces that they were clicking. It was like it's been a journey, but when I say a scavenger hunt, it feels like that, or putting puzzle pieces together.
Yeah.
So regarding this, where your brother has gone, do you believe that this is a place that other people are going to start going to, or is he in a specific, like a because there's the whole thing about this solar flash and how there's going to be a shift, a phase change, something's going to happen. And I'm curious if this is you're in what you think about this, and perhaps he's already made it to that place and he's reaching you from that place, or maybe he's in another realm, like the etheric realm or something like that, and that's where he is. I'm just there's a lot of people who talk about these different places.
What I feel, I can tell you what I feel. When I tap into him, I think that he is in a place that is very similar, or a realm that is very similar to Earth, or Earth on, I say Earth on steroids, but I mean, it's like far more vibrant and beautiful. Mm-hmm. And that's just because when I think about him and where he's at, that's what I see. Only 2 days ago, it was confirmed, because this intuitive that actually we flew out to Hawaii because she was feeling so strongly that he was there. She actually went with Maui Search and Rescue, the president, to look at the place where she thought he was. And she said, "This is so strange. I can feel his energy, but he's not here." And it didn't click until about 2 or 3 days ago. And I thought, oh my gosh, if he went through a portal and he could be in that area, and he would be able to see her. Mm-hmm. And what the information she was getting was he could hear you. He could hear people looking for him, calling for him, but they can't see him. Well, okay. I mean, it's, and that's what I was told, is that he can interact with us, but we can't see him in this 3D place that we're at. So honestly, I don't know enough about the different realms to know exactly where he's at, but I do get images. And so I get this, this incredibly beautiful, lush garden place when I see him. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's because I know that he was last around water and tropical, that's where I see that. But I think that he has the ability to go wherever he wants to go, meaning he was able to take me up into that, I'm going to call it a nebula because I don't know what else to call it, but where all the beautiful stars and stuff were.
Oh yeah, kind of like my shirt.
Oh, I can't see your shirt, but it could be. So that's kind of what I feel when I was working with Eric. Eric said he's between the fourth and the fifth dimension or realm area. But I can't give you a definite. I can just give you what I feel and what feels right when I talk about it, and that's he has the ability to go and change energetically. Is there a realm where you're able to keep the physical form and yet also change to be energetic? Is that a thing?
Well, that's sort of what we're trying to find out, to be honest with you. Like me personally, I've been extremely interested in this since I began this process, which was like years ago. Like since I even realized that there was, behind the veil, that's when my knowledge of like when you die, there's all these other places that you can go in these phases of existence. So it's just so interesting that he's in this space that's clearly still so very close by, but we're not able to perceive in the same way. And so, and there's been so much talk about this becoming a thing that's going to happen to all of us. So I'm curious, I was like, maybe he's made the shift early and he's going to be helping us to learn how to do it ourselves. And I was wondering if you had that impression.
I have the feeling that he's working on something. He's working with others. And when I listen to the story of the woman in Canada whose son I think he did pass away, and she was talking about her son building these healing domes. I don't know that Josh is working on healing domes. He could be, but I get the feeling that he is preparing something. He's working on something, which kind of makes me smile because that's what Josh did when he was here. He was kind of like the foreman of the properties and always doing like maintenance and all that kind of stuff. But his one desire, he said, I want to do something that helps the planet. I want to do something that helps people. It was very important to him. And so the feeling that I got is there was an opportunity presented and he took it. And he's doing that. So the feeling that I get is that he is participating in preparing for this event, for this ascension process, and assisting those whose lives he's touching. And it's going beyond just family and friends now. I mean, look at how this interview happened.
Exactly.
I just go where I'm told to go and do what I'm told to do. But it feels like it's definitely going beyond that and trying to help people prepare for this, but that we have the choice. I was told that for him and for myself, I have the choice whether or not I wanted to go to New Earth or go home. I've always felt, and I remember from childhood being from a whole different planet solar system. So there's the option there.
Interesting.
If that makes sense. But I think right now he is helping prepare the way and New Earth, possibly. Does that make sense?
That's sort of the impression that I was getting as well. And so I'm glad that at least I wasn't totally way off. But yeah, thank you, by the way, for coming on and sharing this story with us. I think a lot of people
are having me.
Of course. And if there's any more crazy developments, I absolutely would love to hear more about it because I'm invested in this story. I don't even understand exactly why it started, and it's been flooding right into my life and this whole thing, and there's some potency behind it, and I definitely want to do the honor of Josh and of you and your family and continue with this story.
Well, it's interesting. Right now I'm getting head to toe chills, and I'm hearing his laughter and seeing him smile. So
hey, Josh.
He's here. He's okay.
I get the impression that if those of us who are now being touched by his influence, that if we were to ask him to help us in some way to see this, to envision this place, or to experience in some way, that he would be open to helping us in dream time or what have you. That's the impression I get.
He's saying absolutely. He's saying absolutely.
Okay, and may I please ask him, the rainbow that you were talking about earlier, is it possible that there is a golden light hovering above the ground like a sphere of power, of energy, and when it goes, shoots straight up and hits this invisible dome, and that's what makes the colored rainbow?
Let's see here. I'm trying to tap into.
In other words, maybe the place that he's in, one of the places he's been to, has a invisible dome, a clear dome that's protecting that place from every other place or keeping it separate or whatever it does. Its function is there's a gold energy sphere that hovers in the center and at the bottom, and once in a while it shoots a beam of light straight up, and when it hits the top of that dome, it fans out like a big rainbow and makes a rainbow of different colors of energy. Can he see this or experience this too?
Well, I'm seeing the image that I'm getting. I don't necessarily see a dome. I see the golden light, and I see it's like if colors had frequency, that's what it feels like. Well, they do have frequency.
They do, yeah.
But I'm not seeing anything that keeps it down. It's just it's surrounding. Right now, I'm just seeing it surround the entire planet. Mm-hmm. But I don't.
Mm-hmm. Well, what you're
I'm not getting the image.
Kind of a torus,
of, like a covering. Or something that's keeping it hidden. It's just ever expanding. I don't know if that.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Josh.
Yes, big time.
You're welcome. I just see him smiling. It's more of an energetic. I because we're so close. He was one of my best friends. I could just feel the energy of when he's really happy, and he's very happy right now. He's happy that this is going on. So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely feel a smile when a smile is happening. I totally know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. Yeah, you've had an experience, Giuseppe, with portals. You said you've seen one, and perhaps I know when Allison was speaking about the story, she mentioned an actual physical portal possibly appearing. I don't know if that came up in the reading of yourself, Heather, but you've physically seen a portal yourself. Is that right?
Oh yes. Ironically, it was here in Louisville, Kentucky, where we are now. It was about a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, within weeks, I guess. I was renovating a apartment on the top floor of a building in downtown Louisville. And one day I was in the main living room area. Now, this used to be like a speakeasy back in the days, and it was a brothel, and it was all these different things in the 1800s and 1900s. So now it's the modern day people, the young 30-year-olds are in there making apartments out of the whole building, So that's what I was doing, renovating this. And from the first time I walked in that place, I always knew there was something there. There was something different and special about the place, that it definitely has a history and a connection to God knows what. I just felt it the first time I walked through the door. And every time I walked through the door, you felt it. You just knew. And all kinds of weird things happen. I would always see somebody at the corner of my eye that wasn't there, or see weird things. I would even see a wall at the corner of my eye once in a while. I would see a wall as it was, God knows how many years ago, 50, 100 years ago, whatever, like decorated at place where it was before. And it wasn't consistent. It would happen. I'd have to catch it off guard almost for me to be able to see it, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because when I'd look for it, nothing would happen, of course. But when you concentrate on your work, and then all of a sudden, out of your peripheral, you would see it, and you're like, gotcha, And then as soon as you say that to yourself or out loud, it disappears, of course. But anyway, so this one day, I think I was starting to tidy up or whatever it was I was doing, and I look up, and there's this portal right in front of me, as clear as day, right in front of me. and I could see through it. I could see everything going on the other side. It was absolutely stunningly beautiful, but the energy I was feeling from it was so strong. I have to say real quick, I'm Sicilian, and I'm afraid of zero things in life except for lightning. I don't fear anything in person. I don't fear nothing. But I do have a little problem with lightning because it is faster than me and it is stronger than me. So there goes my strength. So this thing, again, was so strong. You could feel the energy. I was afraid to reach into it or touch it.
What did it look like? Like the layer, like the boundary?
Almost like smeary water, almost kind of look. I don't know if that makes sense. You could see through pretty clear, but it was not 100% in focus. It was like maybe 90 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There was something there, a barrier of some sort, like air gel is the only thing I know that it would resemble. That's something that's not really out yet. But so anyway. So I so wanted to go in there. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And you knew the energy was positive and warm and just perfect energy, right? But I had Liz at home and I had our daughter Daisy at home. And I said, what if you touch this thing or go in there and you can't get back out? What's going to happen to your girls? They're going to think you left them for the rest of their lives. They're going to think you walked out on them. You went for cigarettes and milk and never came back kind of story. You're right? Oh. So I said, you can't do it. So that's the only reason I didn't touch it. If it wasn't for them, I swear on my life, I have no problem. I would have touched it.
And the beings in there.
Oh, there was beings in there. Yeah, there was a bunch of people in there, and everything was so beautiful. The whole scene that I saw was so beautiful, and I so wanted to go in there and just say hello and see what it was and what was going on. I was fascinated, But again, I was afraid if I even touched it just to see what the energy felt like, that it would suck me in and I could never come back to my girls. And I never want them to think I leave them because I won't leave them for anything.
We know you communicate with us, though.
Yeah, I definitely would have every day. I would have been haunting you guys, throwing stuff off shelves, whatever. I would have done it all. Oh, definitely. Daddy's here. But I just couldn't have my daughter thinking, why'd my daddy leave me? I just couldn't do that. So that's the only reason I didn't touch it or try to go in. I really wanted to go in badly. The beings were almost beings of light, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The energy was so pure. I can't explain the purity of the energy and the beauty of the energy.
Was there a scenery or anything that you recognized? Like, was it like a beautiful, like, Garden of Eden, sort of like what Heather was describing?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Liz and I were talking about this yesterday because I was trying to remember. I have a concussion from a couple of years ago in a car accident, so it's hard for me to remember things on demand. They come when they come. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm trying to talk to Liz yesterday. Okay, I know I've told you a million things over the years, but there's some I really want to talk about tomorrow. So this is what I remember now, and I would say it. And I said it was almost as if what did I say?
They were at each of them was at the pinnacle of health. They had these golden.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Golden. Like aura.
But I said a term, and then you said what she just said just now, that same term.
The Garden of Eden.
Yeah, I said it was like Hawaii, because I was thinking beauty. Yeah. Thinking it's just lush and beautiful and freaking flawless and, like a Hawaiian kind of dream scenario. She says, like a paradise like that. And I was, that's exactly what it was like perfection to the 12th degree. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Someday maybe I'll get lucky to go there. Well, my girls won't know I'm leaving them,
Or we'll all go.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping is everybody goes.
Yeah, that would be nice. It would be nice if that happens. That would really be nice if that happens.
It was interesting, Heather, what you were saying about him being between the fourth and fifth dimension, because I am a Gaia
aficionado.
Yeah. I've studied Gaia University. Let's just say it like that. And I remember a show, one of Regina Meredith's shows where they had, Barbara Hand-Clow, I think.
Yes.
Talking about the different dimensions and how the fourth dimension is where it's the kind of the mental space, right? Where the manipulation on this planet really has us. Right. And so it makes sense to me that we don't really see beyond that at this point, but with this ascension process happening, with the new earth, kind of we're getting closer in vibration to it, and with the falling apart of the structures in that fourth dimension control grid that have held us in place, that, you know, we're seeing beyond that in places like our dreams, the theta state, the areas, the state of mind where, you know, they can't really, like, the control grid doesn't exist when we go to those places. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's exactly how it felt. And so when you were saying, well, where is he? It feels like he has the ability. I mean, he can be right there present in a physical form, obviously, because I saw him in a physical form, although it seemed to be lighter, less dense. Beautiful light emanating. It would be, I know somebody did I think it was Michelle Walling, was talking to somebody whose skin was sparkly, or the light was emanating out of their skin. That's what it seemed like with Josh. Not like he was glitterified or something, but just
I understand completely.
Like
in Twilight, like the vampires in Twilight.
Right. No, it didn't look like that. It just looked like he was radiant. And lighter density. Yep. So, and he has the ability to go from that to also just being pure energy. Because I do sense him as pure energy at times. And also he's got this kinship with dragons. Not dragons as in we would think of Draco, but it was almost like a energy dragon, like never-ending story dragon type thing.
We were talking about that today or yesterday? Yesterday we were just, oh my God. Keep going, please. Sorry for the interruption.
Wow.
But it's that level of just yeah, you know, so when I see him, I'll sense him in that, like, energetic dragon stage too. And Mom has done the same thing, and so has some of his friends. So I think that's neat that he can kind of change his energy to whatever he wishes, or have a physical form or not. So, yeah.
Well, I'm on the edge of my seat. What is the dragon thing that you guys were talking about earlier today? Is it related at all?
We were going over it yesterday, just kind of comparing notes on our paranormal experiences and realizing that our lives are weirder than we thought.
Stuff we've told each other numerous times over the past 10 or 11 years.
We just sort of forgot, or just, you know.
You forget, there's so many instances, you know, so you forget.
Or it doesn't fit in this kind of, you know, world we live in, so you just kind of repress it and just kind of go on with your life.
Yeah, many.
And so we were talking about, like, fantastical creatures, you know, and all of a sudden, G says,
I believe that everything they've taught us in life is fake, and everything they've told us is fake is real. And I said, the only thing I can't put my finger on yet, because I know they existed, is dragons. But I don't know exactly when they came and when they left, or if they're still around. I don't know what's going on with the dragons. That's the one thing. Yeah, so one thing I haven't quite put my exact finger on. Yeah. But I can tell you, this is what happened yesterday. I can tell you, there's no fat guy in a red suit, right? And I don't mean to offend anybody with any of this, because there's more. There's no guy hovering on a magical carpet up in the clouds making us be good to humans. There's no, you know, all these weird things that we do. There is none. There is none of it. There is none.
The things they try to tell us don't exist.
But the things they tell us that don't exist, they're all there.
Like fairies and, you know, all that. Like I
fairies and gargoyles and goblins and dragons, and I mean, all that stuff is real. So they've lied to us 100% of the time, not 90, 80, 100. They've lied about everything. So the board's clear. Let's start new with the right information.
Allison Coe in that interview that coincidentally,
she said dragons, almost fell out of my chair.
Synchronistically, Alexis and I each watched that interview on the same day.
Wow.
It was posted in a group we're both in, but I mean, a lot of things are posted in that group that, you know, we may or may not read on any given day. But in that interview, Allison Coe says, you know, I've seen so much and I've heard about so much at this point. Santa might even be real, you know, because there's just so much, you know, that she's discovered through doing these hypnotherapy sessions, the quantum, you know, QHHT sessions with people that, like, that there's these things exist, but just not, you know,
something you just said made me think of this, and I don't know what the connection is whatsoever, but here's what I'm thinking. You know the show Daisy watches, Mia and Me?
Yeah.
I think Vanessa's brother
Heather's brother.
I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Heather's brother.
Oh,
It might be something similar to that. Are you guys familiar with that cartoon show, whatever it is? Mia and Me?
no.
It's a show on, yeah, our daughter found it on Netflix
By herself.
and it's this girl Mia. She's at a boarding school in Florence, and she has both her parents were killed in a car wreck. And
Episode 1 starts with her grandmother, whoever.
Yeah,
bringing
and then
her to school.
they leave behind this book for her. Anyway, long story short, she's able to portal
To the
off
fairy world.
to this place called Centopia, which is like a cartoon world. But G and I are sitting here going, that's like real, like people can actually do that.
Yeah, and as she was talking about how he can go between the 4th and the 5th, and sometimes he's there with her, I'm like,
changing
this
form.
is Mia and Me, man. He's got that book. So you guys might want to check that out, and I'm not kidding, I'm dead serious. As you watch a couple episodes, you're going to be like, somebody's put that show there subliminally.
It's like disclosure, like a little part of disclosure.
Big time disclosure, because there's some things that you were talking about. I was picturing scenes, and I was like, what?
You
wow.
know, I've always been fascinated with the concept of traveling between dimensions without even knowing that's what it was.
Yep.
Neverending Story was my first favorite movie. And then I had it set in my mind that you could kind of travel to dimensions. And then I wanted to go into the Care Bear dimension, and I couldn't. And I was really pissed off when I realized that I couldn't go. Like, I tried. I sat there and concentrated, But I think getting back to what Josh is doing is he's really helping us to see that these other places exist and that we can access them, and that we can, it's important to know that there's more than what we've been shown. And what
absolutely.
It's so important to know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I find it entertaining that his favorite movie of all time was The Matrix.
Oh, love it.
And so he was always talking about The Matrix and trying to figure out how.
That's a whole other video session. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, I think we were all with anyone who has seen that movie, even if they weren't aware of it on a conscious level. I think it subconsciously speaks so much truth,
and that's why it was so big.
And that's why it was so huge, because we all recognize the truth in it.
At the time, it was the biggest thing ever. Like, it was just ridiculous.
Also, a fan of Hollywood Decoded on Gaia. Hey, J&J.
It's a good one too.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Would you share some things?
Oh, I don't know. Does Alexis have any more?
Let's see. Honestly, I think we brought this around in a really, really beautiful circle. I don't know if we want to continue the conversation too much longer, but I would be interested in definitely having one of these again. And, if my intuition currently right now is the message I'm getting is that this most likely will be happening again, and we have personally volunteered to be a part of whatever this is and to assist Josh in his work and assist whoever else is out there. And I have a feeling that more of these occurrences, if they have not come into my consciousness, but they are probably happening around the world right now. People are having family members going missing in a similar way, and this is currently happening, and things are shifting. And it's good to have that we have this information on hand for other people who need help and perhaps need some guidance with this. And I'm really glad that you dropped a lot of names of people that you visited and worked with, for anyone who also needs to sort of have this reassurance if anything similar has happened. But there we go. The Saved by the Bell, I guess. So I'm going to.
I did the ultimate faux pas by not turning my ringer off.
There you go. I'm like looking at my phone. I think my ringer was totally on. Whoops.
That's confirmation
and
that
I know better.
We've come full circle here. We've had a really fascinating discussion.
Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with all of you, and thank you, Alexis, for facilitating. And listen, Giuseppe, it was really nice to speak with you and hear your story as well. So.
Heather, I didn't know what to expect when we were going to talk to you and hear about your experience. And I got to tell you, you were unbelievable with the things you said as far as my recollection of things in my life and things that have happened to me. And you went down a list in my mind of things. And I'm so touched, and I so hope that you get to explore more with Josh. I so want to hear more in the future about things that come about. Thank you so much for being a part of this today. I can't tell you how it was way beyond my expectations and way realer than even I was hoping for.
Yeah.
I know how real it was because
thank you. I was so nervous. To be honest, I've never done one of these before, and I thought, okay, well, I hope I do right by Josh and his message. And what I was hearing is just do it. Just
if you're honest, if you're honest and just share your experience, you can't do wrong.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and it's all our first time doing this.
Yep. And I had faith. I was like, this is going to go great. I knew it. And I'm so very glad. And it was very emotionally driven too. And now I feel pure heart connection with all three of you. And I'm really grateful for that.
Likewise.
It's such an honor all the way around. So thank you.
Of course. If there's any last sentiments that you'd like to put onto this video for anyone watching in the future, please speak now or forever hold your peace.
If you and Liz and Heather can get together and pick another date for the next one, there's so many more topics and experiences and things that I'd like to share.
And
with
people that I'm going to be sharing.
I'm
going to be telling them they need to join this. If you can pick
the next date, please, by all means, let me know what it is.
Yeah, this is so cool.
Wonderful. Let's plan on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you guys will work that out.
Yeah.
Good.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll work it out. All right. Well,
sounds good.
Heather, you're all good. There's nothing left that Josh would like to say or yourself would like to say?
I just feel like this huge push of love. That's usually how he speaks, is through love. So I'm just feeling that heart energy surrounding all of you and all of the listeners. So that's what I'm getting.
Right on.
Yeah. Well,
one love.
Yeah.
One love, 100%. But yeah, I guess that'll be everything. I'm just going to finish this up, and then I'll press stop, and then we can go on our merry ways. But for everyone watching, if you have any comments or questions for any of us involved in this video, I have no problem relaying any of this information. I'm going to be posting this on the Ascension Diaries Facebook page as well. So for anybody who missed it, and anybody who wants to be involved or ask any questions or perhaps have topics about a next video we're going to do, please just write them below. And I really appreciate you watching, because there's going to be, I want to do this at least once a week with all of these incredible people I've met and have similar stories, maybe not as potent as this one in this particular time, but there's a lot of stuff out there, and we are normalizing this. And blessings to everybody, and I love you.
Right on. One love.